Hello and thank you for tuning in again to my YouTube channel. I'm VR Stuntman and this is round 6 of the GT300 Championship at www.vrroom.org, and we're at Suzuka for the reverse grid race, and we'll get on with the grid walk. So on pole position in the older type of Mazda RX-7, it's actually an RE Amamea RX-7, they're the tuner for it, and this is Dylan, who has managed to make it for the third race of the night and that puts him on pole because we're on the reverse grid. Second we have that would be Hatcher, who had a bit of a bad race in the previous race. Third on the grid, and a man who needs a good result because he's just been bumped down to last in the championship, is Slicker. Fourth we have Genobi, who is looking for a good result with that Subaru. Fifth on the grid is Scouser. Sixth, this would be that would be Rick in his Celica. Seventh in another Celica is N10. Eighth, yet another Celica. That's race 42. Then we have Stuntman. Ninth in his MRS. 10th, Scalebreaker, sticking with the Celica on this track. 11th is Jordan, and finally bringing up the rear after his excellent win in the previous race is Malada. So let's get on with the start, and we're going to ride on board here with Scalebreaker. Excellent start, the car directly ahead of us, that was race 42, and you can see he's already gained a couple of places. Breaker going to the left and following Stunt round the outside. Bit of rubbing between N10 and Stunt there, and again, and out of turn 2 on. Stuntman just eased off the track there. I don't think N10 realised he was still there. So and Jordan getting a bit sideways after contact with N10 as well. So Breaker up to 9th place. Malada still at the back. But we're going to ride on board with Dylan, who is in the lead, and he's had a great start and is just easing half a second or so away from Slicker in second. Oh, there's stuff kicking on here. That's the Scouser getting involved in a bit of contact and losing a place or two, but recovers and rejoins in 8th behind Breaker. And you can see Breaker making an attack on Rick. Meanwhile, Scouse is under pressure from Jordan. Jordan, in fact, has passed Scouse, and oh, that's Breaker passing Rick there. So race 42 we're riding on board with is in 5th place, and here comes Rick trying to repass Breaker. Go for it, Rick. It turns in quite tight on the entry to the second part of Spoon. Meanwhile, we'll go on board with the leaders. This is Dylan. Three RX-7 still first, second and third, and Slicker on the inside into 130R, and oh, that's a spinner! That's Hatcher, just carried a bit too much speed on cold tyres into 130R and spins to the back, and I would imagine he's hit that wall and collected some damage. So that leaves Slicker in the lead from Dylan. Race 42 is up to 3rd then, and we're going to ride on his rear view because we can see Genobi behind us and then Breaker. So Breaker is already up to 5th, looking for 4th. So Genobi holds him off, then Jordan is in there as well. 7th we have Scouser, 8th is N10, 9th is Rick, and then we have Stuntman and Malada, who've made no real progress since the start of the race, and Hatcher bringing up the rear, and this is very, very close. 42 from Dylan. Oh, and that looked pretty dirty to me. That was Jordan shoving Breaker off into the gravel trap. Not much Breaker could have done about that. Jordan just slung it up the inside and drove him off the track, and Breaker down to stone last. And Jordan continues, and now in 4th place and making an attack on the outside into the hairpin. And Jordan is going past, so that's Jordan up to 3rd. Meanwhile, we can see this is slicker from Dylan. And we've got a little gaggle 3rd, 4th, 5th. Scouser still 6th from Rick and Stuntman. Great shot now, good run through Spoon for Dylan. And surely he's going to return the compliment to Slicker and pass him into 130R. Meanwhile, Jordan is catching both of them through 130R, and it's Jordan going for it, is he? No, this is Dylan and Slicker. Oh, it's so hard to tell when they're all driving the same sort of car. And it's Slicker. But Jordan now is 2nd. Dylan is not getting the slipstream out there. And another one who's in on this is Genobi. We ride on board with Genobi. And he's slinging it down the inside of Dylan. No. Eases out of it rather than cause a collision. So it's Jordan, and race 42 has gone up to 2nd. Using that, got a great exit from the chicane and uses the slipstream into turn 1. But it's Jordan just starting to get away a little. That's the front view from Genobi. This is the rear view, and we've got Scouser having a go. So, oh my word! Now that was Slicker spinning across the track, and Scouser coming to a dead stop after taking evasive action, and we've got a yellow flag for that. So let's go back and have a look and see what happened there. We'll go on board Scouser's car. So here we go into turn 1. So it's the Subaru ahead of us of Genobi. Slicker is 3 cars ahead. So we're running through the S's. Scouser getting a good run through there. Up ahead you can see Slicker takes a bit too much curb on the entry, spins, and Scouser tries to avoid him and ends up hitting that bit of barrier that's sticking out there. And Scouser drops all the way to 11th and picks up a load of damage as well. But we do have a yellow flag, so I'm going to fast forward the action. We'll see who pits. So this is Scouser, who is taking an unusual line into the pits, but it's just him and Hatcher. Hatcher, of course, spun on the first lap and picked up damage, so just those two electing to stop. Breaker, who has a bit of damage, running on board with him, he's elected to stay out, which is a bit of a surprise to me, but he was so far back I would have thought he might have stopped to get that fixed. Anyway, we'll fast forward a bit more and we'll ride on the rear view of Jordan in the lead. So we're coming up to the hairpin. The marshal is planning to release us at Spoon if everyone catches up. We see cars weaving in the background to try and get some or keep some heat in their tyres. And that's race 42 Salika behind, and Jordan is being told that he's going to go on the second part of Spoon. He's effectively acting as the safety car, but instead of pulling in, he decides when to go and then floors it. So keeping a steady 60 through Spoon. And he starts to accelerate, but not very hard, and it's causing a bit of confusion because he's picking up speed, but he hasn't floored it. And there he goes, and he's finally gone, and that's bunched the whole field up. And this is going to be very, very tight into 130R. There's going to have to be some good driving through here, and it looks like it looks like they've all got through, so good driving by everyone. Here comes 42 for the lead. Doesn't make it though. Still Dylan third, Ginobili fourth, Stuntman is up to fifth, and Rick is sixth, and here comes 42 for the race lead. Let's go to the outside shot. Let's have a better angle than that. There we go. We can see them side by side as they come down the hill into turn one, and Stuntman making a move on Ginobili for fourth. And someone off. I think that might be an N10. Manages to gather it all back together. The Stunt makes the move and is now fourth. We're now on lap 5, so half the race gone already. And it's 42 from Jordan. Dylan having a good race, hanging on in the leading pack. Stunt Ginobili and Rick. Rick is pretty racy in this one as well. He's right on the tail of that leading group, and those 6 have pulled away, and the next car is Malada. Let's have a look at him, because he's under big pressure from Scale, and Scale has gone past into Degner 1. That's a brave place to make a move, and I noticed Scale's picked up a bit more damage. I don't know if that was then or a bit earlier, but he's hopefully going to drag Malada back up to the leading pack, which we're going to have a look at the moment, because 42 is under big pressure from Jordan and Stunt. Stunt has managed to pass Dylan coming out of the hairpin, and Stunt is run out wide, hung out to dry, and that's allowed Dylan back to third. So now coming down the back straight for the 5th time of 8, and here comes Jordan on the inside, and Stunt as well, and they're all bottling each other up through here, running 2 abreast. And the man on the move is Breaker. Let's look at him. He's gone up to 4th from 7th, and 42 takes Jordan a bit wide, and that allows Stunt into the lead and Breaker into 2nd. Amazing stuff. And there's a whole group of 7 cars now in this battling out for the lead, and it's Stunt and Breaker. Breaker on the inside, Stunt on the outside. Behind them, race 42 and Jordan side by side, and it's side by side through the first 2 turns, and Stunt hangs on round the outside. So Stunt from Breaker from Jordan, and 42. Dylan's been shuffled back to 5th, and it's Ginobili, Rick and Malada. So it's 8 cars in this group. And Stunt coming under pressure from Breaker, who is very quick through the S's. Now there's through Dunlop into the Degners. Little rub. Another little rub. Stunt now coming under pressure as Breaker goes for the outside at the hairpin. Breaker braking late, perhaps a bit too late, runs wide, and has to drop back into 2nd. Meanwhile, Rick has been shuffled back a little. This is the midfield pack. Focused on Rick there, who's behind N10 now. And Scouse is on the move as well, passing Slicker. Side by side, Scouse and Slicker. Fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead. It's still Stuntman, but he's going to be a sitting duck on this straight because Breaker is too close. And it's Breaker and Stunt side by side into 130R, and that's given Jordan a run. Stunt inadvertently squeezes Jordan off the track there, and they come down to the hairpin. Sideways, big sideways from Scalebreaker. Stunt hangs on to 2nd, Jordan 3rd. Race is 4th, but and they're a little bit ahead of Dylan, Ginobili and Malada. Let's go on board with Jordan. There we go. So we're chasing Stuntman into turn 1. So we're now on lap 7, so just under 2 laps to go. Stunt quite defensive through there. And Jordan just nudges him and spins Stuntman, and stunt is, well, there he is. He's had to reverse out of the wall, and you can see Jordan up ahead is waiting for him. So, so those two now completely out of contention, and that's given Breaker. Look, this is the rear view from Breaker. He's got a huge lead now because of that. 42. Here he is. He's in second with a little bit of a gap behind him. Dylan is third. Malada, who has kept his nose clean and must have just passed Ginobili on the last lap. So Malada up to fourth, and he's passed relatively few cars to go from last to fourth, but hasn't got any damage and is nicely placed, perhaps to go further forwards. Then it's Ginobili fifth. Rick is still in contact with them in seventh. Then it's Slicker and Scouser. This is Scouser. They're battling hard for 7th and 8th with N10 down in 9th behind them. Whoa! Scouser getting very sideways. That's through the first part of Spoon. Beautifully placed he is for the slipstream, and I think we're going to see Scouser move up a place here. Slicker forces him to go the long way round, and Scouser does go the long way round and gets the job done. So this is looking at Malada for this group that's battling for second place. 42 is still in that second. Ginobili is up to fourth again. Malada's down to fifth. Right on board with Ginobili as he goes for the inside into turn one. There's quite a bit of damage on that Subaru. Oh, and Ginobili backs out of it. Tap from behind, and that's Malada trying to go around the outside of Ginobili. Ginobili gives him lots of room, and they're still side by side as they go into the S's. And they're still side by side. Malada's got the pass, so great move by him. Now Ginobili's coming under pressure from Rick. This is Rick's point of view, and he's right on the rear bumper as they go through Dunlop. We're now on the last lap. Scalebreaker is miles in front, and Rick is having a look into Degner, but thinks better of it. Ooh, that's someone a bit wide up ahead. Malada a bit wide, and Malada's not showing the kind of pace that saw him win the previous race. But he is still fourth, and he's dropping back from Dylan a little bit. Oh, and Malada's sideways again. Don't know if he's made any setup changes that haven't worked. Meanwhile, this is Scouser. He's still trying to catch and pass Slicker. In fact, Slicker must have got past. That was probably a slipstream into turn one. And then behind them, Stunt and Jordan have passed N10, so they're now both into the points. And Jordan on the attack into very wide through Spoon using all the road. And I think Jordan's going to go past, but we need to focus on this battle up ahead because we're riding with Ginobili, and Malada spun. Oh no, through 130R, just one serious corner to go, and he spins it, and he's spun it into the wall and got damage, but he has at least ended up pointing the right way, but he's dropped from 4th to 8th. So the race winner was Scalebreaker. This is race 42 in second. Dylan gets the good third, Ginobili 4th, Rick 5th, then Slicker 6th, Scouser 7th, Malada 8th, Stunt 9th, Jordan and N10. So we'll have a quick look at the live timings, and well, that's pretty depressing reading for everybody but Scalebreaker. Scale 206.7, fastest lap. Nobody else in the 206s or even the 207s. Next fastest is Stuntman 285, and then we've got 208.7s for Rick and Jordan. So I've been VR Stuntman. Thanks ever so much for watching this video. I do hope that the next instalments, rounds 7, 8 and 9, which I'll be publishing next week, I do hope they're as good as these ones. If you fancy this kind of racing, And let's face it, you'd be mad if you didn't. Then come and check us out at vrroom.org. You can sign up for this. It's completely free, and you can be part of some fantastic real race action.